the anticipation.
All right, the race is going to be getting underway in approximately 5 seconds. So 3, 2, 1. We're going to have to, again, of course, wait for stream delay. But once we get that, we'll be underway. And here we go, everybody. As soon as we get it, we're on and ready. Alrighty, and here we go. And oh, that's a very interesting start screen. Now, this is the arrow on the top of Death Mountain. So our runners are already going to be sitting there, and they're on Death Mountain, which is a very interesting start screen because this is going to cause a lot of issues if they want to upend A, which is going to be something you're going to see a lot of times if they are going to use, you know, try to avoid the door repair. So where this is going to put them is basically to the east of Spectacle Rock. So what they're first doing here is they are going to be taking a look at this open cave because the wooden sword that we had mentioned, that can only be found in wooden caves and open caves. Look at that. The start screen going to reward people immediately. Both runners are going to get their wooden sword. Now, this is normally, that cave is one of the last things you're going to actually check because it's so far out of the way. But this opening cave allowed them to check it early and be rewarded early with the sword. Now, the next thing you're going to see here is you'll notice a RC drone trying to kill a blue enemy. Now, Dragondarch's going to be doing the same thing. Now, the reason they're doing that is because they're trying to count up the universal counter. Now, enemies that can drop bombs will drop them on the first kill of the universal, the 6th kill, and the 8th kill. That's why he wanted to make the first enemy he killed a blue enemy to try and get a bomb drop out of it. Bombs are going to be a really, really big deal here. The other thing you're probably going to notice is the fact that that enemy HP is shuffled. That is another one of the random flags we have on here. So that's, again, something to look forward to. After RC Drone took care of killing all of those enemies, he's going to opt to go down to the graveyard section as well. Same thing with Dragondarch. They're making their way across to try and get as many open caves as they can. The next thing you're going to see here for Dragondarch here is he's picking up the letter. Now, the letter is going to be an item that's going to allow us to get a potion later on in the game if the runners decide they need one. RC Drone's going to pick up the same thing here in a second now. These Armo statues that you see, Armo statue is going to be a big deal because there are items underneath Armo statues. There's one item particularly that's going to be underneath Armo statues. Hopefully we see some here. And there it is. We have the Armos item. That is going to be the magical wand. So if RC Drone does the same screen wrap thing that you just saw Dragondarch do, which he looks like he's going to do, he's also going to be picking up that same, wand. So that's huge. So where the wood sword deals 1 hit point of damage, the wand is going to deal 2. That's going to greatly increase the capacity for both of our runners to be able to deal damage. As you can see, RC Drone also finding the wand, so that's going to be nice. See the rupee symbol over there on Dragondarch screen. The other thing we're going to try and figure out here is we have the magical sword, and that's what was found directly underneath. So the magical sword there, that's going to be between 10 and 14 hearts that our runners are going to need to pick it up. So hopefully we get to see that. However, if they find the white sword, it's more than likely they're not going to pick that up. So now that we are making our way around, again, everything, we are now taking a look at both runners going towards the start screen area. Now that's going to be good, especially for RC Drone because he has bombs, so he can bomb those 2 caves near start. And we already have our first level of the game here. That's going to be found by Dragondarch. And unfortunately, as Dragondarch is exploring this level, which looks to me to be level 1, which is a really good find early, RC Drone gets hit with a door repair charge with the message of "Ha." So back to the levels here. With Dragondarch in level 1, there are going to be 2 items he's going to be looking for. One on the floor and one through a staircase. RC Drone also in the same dungeon. So that's going to be finding a level 1 early is really huge because, again, there's 2 items. And the more items, the more you can equip yourself, the better off you're going to be. Unfortunately for Dragondarch, he doesn't have bombs, so he cannot continue through that room because you're going to have to bomb upwards through that wall. RC Drone is not going to be under any such hindrance because he does have bombs. So finding the early bombs is a big thing there for RC Drone. That's going to put him in a little bit of an advantage early. But as if anyone has seen randomizers before, early advantages like that are going to be fairly moot because level 9 can always equalize things. But as we can see, we now have Dragondarch trying to get bombs here, or trying to kill some things, just make his way through. Looks like he's going to be heading up towards the level 1 area, and more than likely make his way into the forest, while RC-Drone is continuing to go through level 1, and he finds the Triforce there in level 1. What he's going to do, though, is he is going to avoid that right now, so he can go and get both the items here in level 1. Again, it is what it is, but you're going to see a lot of that, especially with the smaller dungeons. If people get early Triforces, they're going to definitely go back in and pick up the items because these dungeons are smaller. And we do have our first item find for RC-Drone, and it is the Recorder. So the Recorder is one of the required items you're going to see. Now, that's one going to unlock the lake section that vanilla level 7 is normally under. And number 2, it's going to allow him to easily transport back to other dungeons that he's already got the Triforces out of. So now RC-Drone looking for the final piece of the puzzle here in level 1, which of course is going to be the floor item. So as soon as we get the floor item, he's going to go back, pick up that Triforce, and he will be taking care of getting the first Triforce out of the way. Meanwhile, you have Dragondarch here making his way through the desert, and he's going to be making his way over towards the forested section and the northeast section of Hyrule. Now, unfortunately for RC-Drone, you see, he has come into a Patra now. The way bosses work in the game, there are 3 cycles of bosses. There's normally, there's your Goma set. You're going to see Gomas, Digdoggers, things of that nature. You're going to see Dongos, Aquamentai, or you're going to see Patras, which are normally found in level 9s. So if you see a Patra in a dungeon, that means all of the bosses in that dungeon are going to be Patra. Thankfully, level 1 only contains 1 boss, so it's only going to be 1 Patra. It's worse when you come across something like that in level 7. However, we do have the second item in level 1, and it is going to be the Magical Boomerang. A little hard to see there blending in with the floor, but Magical Boomerang, unfortunately, is not something you want to see, especially when you have Sword and Wand. So RC-Drone is just going to leave it there lying on the floor, and he's now going to go back and pick up the first Triforce piece. You've got Dragondarch there making his way up into what is known as the Lost Hills section, getting a 34 rupee secret. Now, we did see a candle shop earlier, and that's something that our runners are going to be looking to get, is they want to get a candle because there are several points in Hyrule that need to be burned utilizing the candle. And speaking of things that are going to have to be with the candle, Dragondarch finding one of the 3 large rupee secrets in Hyrule. So as soon as he comes across a candle shop, he is going to be able to purchase it. And that's going to be good for him. He is finding even more money here, so he is fairly good, and he's actually well on his way to purchasing a blue ring if he decides he wants one. Speaking of large secrets, RC-Drone also picking up one there to the west of the normal start screen. So 130 rupees, that is a huge secret there. We have some expensive meat here at the start shop. Meat is something you could potentially need because the Hungry Gorilla is shuffled between dungeons. But at 110 rupees, especially this early, meat is not something you're going to see our runners purchase. And we have another dungeon being found here. This one at Vanilla level 2, and Dragondarch is going to be the one who finds it. And from the looks of it already, I think we're going to have regular level 2 at Vanilla level 2. So that's a very interesting thing. And it looks like we are on the... that is level 2 guarantee, because that was just the power bracelet that Dragondarch picked up there in level So that's a very interesting thing. It's a little bit hard to see there with the way the sprites work, but that is definitely level 2, and that was definitely the power bracelet. Though the enemy that Dragondarch picked off that power bracelet out of, that was a Gibdo, which is the little mummy-like sprites. Now he is fighting Blue Darknut. So we have the Darknut set here in Vanilla, or in level 2, which is again located at Vanilla level 2. As we see Dragondarch here attempting to continue killing these Darknuts, we have got RC-Drone making his way down across the coast. And now once he's doing that, he's going to make his way up the side of the coast, and we're going to find out what the ladder item is in the game. Now, normally this is where a heart container is located, but again, it can be anything shuffled. So the runners are hoping to see something really good, like, the bow, the silver arrows, or they want to see something really bad so they know they don't have to come back for it. At this point, really bad would be considered the book or the wooden boomerang, things that you don't necessarily need to see. And we have the red candle as the host item there. Now, red candle is interesting because if either runner acquires a ladder before they get the candle, they're absolutely going to go and pick that up. However, if they have a candle before they get to that, then more than likely they are not going to take the time to go back and get that, because very rarely you're going to see runners at this high of a level prioritize the red candle, which its only advantage is being able to do more than one flame per screen. And again, for those of you who keep asking in the chat, the sprite set that Dragondarch is using is all enemies from the game Legacy of the Wizard. So that is what's going on with that. I don't know a whole lot about the game, so I really can't give you any more information than that. The information I can give you, however, is the fact that Dragondarch, by quitting that room, did just acquire the compass, which is going to let him know where the Triforce is. Because he's already got the item here in this room, or in this dungeon, he doesn't necessarily need to continue clearing out all the rooms for enemy for drops, but he can if he wants to. He's more than likely going to be doing it to try and find keys. So if he does that, that's fine, but he does know where he has to look. And speaking of looking, we also have rcdrone also making his way into level 2. So he is going to pick up the same power bracelet that we saw Dragondarch pick up earlier. If again, there is the Gibdo that we saw with the power bracelet, and nice little room here right before the Triforce. It's going to be a room full of Gibdos for Dragondarch, as it's going to be the easiest thing to kill here, especially with the wands. We just stand back and fire away. rcdrone again also picking up the power bracelet here in level 2 as Dragondarch makes his way into this final room. Unfortunately, not a Triforce going to be sitting out in the open. He is going to have to kill a room full of 5 blue dark nuts to do that. Now, you may notice him attacking with the wand as well as the sword. What he's trying to do is hit the A and B buttons on the same frame. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow him to swing both the wand and the wooden sword at the same time, which is going to deal a total of 3 damage to the dark nuts. 1 from the wooden sword, 1 from 2 from the wand. And what that allows him to do, of course, is to deal more damage more efficiently. Now, when you're fighting dark nuts with the wand, you have to hit them with the wand exactly. You can't hit them with a spell. They are immune to the spell. You have to hit them with the actual wand proper. So Dragondarch there picking up the Triforce out of level 2 as rcdrone is making his way into level 2 and deeper into the belly of the moon. So now, again, the big hindrance right now for our runners is the fact that they don't have a candle, and they are both in the area of the game that really wants them to have something to be able to burn bushes. You see rcdrone there picking up another key, and keys are another huge factor in here, especially with the way this game works and the way rooms have been randomized. One of the big things you're going to see that's going to be a huge deal, especially at this level of skill, is going to be resource management. When I say resource management, I specifically mean bombs and keys, especially in level 9. Now, Dragondarch making an interesting option here, opting to show the letter immediately and get himself the potion. Now, it was a great price for potions, but it's a very interesting option to do that early, because now every time he comes into a potion cave, he's going to have to read that text, and then a race such as this, where the skill ceiling is so high, that extra bit of time lost from the text could be the difference between winning and losing. So I find that as a very interesting option from Dragondarch, but hey, he's in the tournament, I'm not. Definitely something to take a look at, and remember for later if it comes down to being a really close race. rcdrone now picking up the Triforce out of level 2. So there's going to be 2 Triforces for rcdrone and 1 for Dragondarch. Again, as from that, we see a money-making game on Dragondarch's side as he is making his way up to the Lost Hills to take a look at the first power bracelet spot. There are 4 of those in the game that the power bracelet unlocks, and the first one's going to unlock a blue ring shop and also 44 rupee meat, which Dragondarch is going to go ahead and purchase. So that is going to be good. Cheat meat is always good because you never know when you might run into a meat block, and having it ahead of time before you need it is always good, because saving time is always a good thing. Now, rcdrone opting to up an A out of the forest. Now, this is a very interesting option here, considering how far away the start screen is from everything. The one thing this is going to allow rcdrone to do, though, is get some bombs taken care of up here in the Death Mountain area. First one he's going to find is going to be a potion shop, while Dragondarch is bombing down in the area of the, or up in the area of the northeast part of Hyrule, and he is going to be rewarded with a hint shop. And he has the option of buying hints. He is going to buy the 18 hint, and he's going to get a community hint telling him "Hasta la vista, baby." So he wasted 18 rupees, but 18 rupees when you find me is definitely a good price to try and take a gamble. We've got another bomb shop here, as RC Drone isn't rewarded with anything fruitful as he bombs the Spectacle Rock. So now we have Dragondarch going into the far northeast corner, and he's going to be rewarded with the first of the Take Anyone You Want caves. Looked like he was going to go pick up the heart container, but opted to pick up the candle instead. Now, for those of you who have played normal Zelda, of course, normally that cave is just a heart and a potion. But because of the nature of Randomizer here, we always have the option of adding extra candles, and if we do, which we do for these seeds, we have the option of picking up a candle, which makes burning things a lot easier. And again, with the candle, as we were mentioning, it's going to make burning, there are several bushes that need to be burned here. Speaking of candles, RC Drone has found a candle shop, and he is going to pick up his candle as well. He knew where that candle shop was because we saw it as they first went around here. So that is, both runners now have candles, so now we have access to be able to excavate all parts of Hyrule that we need. Dragondarch now up in the Lost Hills, opting to screen throw to avoid having to go up the mountain ahead to get himself to where Vanilla level 5 is normally located. Now you see him killing these blue enemies, doing so to try and get a bomb drop, because bombs, again, huge deal. And Vanilla level 5 is going to be home to a level. Not sure which one it is just yet, but we'll hopefully take a look to see. This is interesting. So we don't have a way to go up here. So this feels very much like a level 3 to me. Speaking of feeling like levels, we also have RC Drone feeling like he's in a level that looks like it belongs in the Elsa part of Disney World here, with that nice ice blue color palette. We have another heart container for Dragondarch there, but unfortunately he's in a dungeon with Whiz Robes. Fortunately, these are one-hit red Whiz Robes, so that is going to be huge, which means the wooden sword is going to be useful throughout the game, because one-hit red Whiz Robes are great, because normally they're 4 hit points and they're really, really good pain. RC Drone, on the other hand, is still making his way through this dungeon. I personally don't have enough information to let you know what it is just yet, but having the Gorilla set is absolutely nice. And look at that, we have a Triforce already for Dragondarch there in that dark room with the 2 Landmolas. Now, with that Dragondarch, because he is in level 3, he is going to more than likely just be taking a look at getting the item, and he's got a reverse C room here. Now, reverse C rooms are interesting because there are 3 total reverse C rooms in the game. 2 of them are staircases, 1 of them is not. So if there is no item drop here, then he will know that that's going to be a staircase room. And yes, RC Drone's dungeon was on that Armos bomb screen directly to the south of the Power Bracelet spot in the graveyard section, whereas you now have Dragondarch here still traversing level 3, which again was up at Vanilla level 5. So now you see Dragondarch here. These are going to be virus he's killing, and obviously the virus have at least more than 2 hit points because they are separating into their component 2 pieces when he hits them with the wand. Now, once he kills this last one, unfortunately he gets the drop in that room, so he knows it's not going to be a staircase. So now we are still looking for a staircase. Any of the staircases that could be in here, could be the diamond, it could be the spiral, it could be a 2-block, it could be a single block. But we are looking for the staircase in Dragondarch's side. RC Drone looks to be in level 7, which is a very interesting dungeon to be in here. Especially this early when he's only got 6 hearts, because level 7 is, of course, 33 rooms. So the faster you can get in and out of 7, the better off that you are. Dragondarch is going to get rewarded with some bombs here, but looks like he doesn't necessarily need the bombs. He has no bomb upgrades. He's just going to pick them up anyway because he's here. He's going to have to kill the virus in this room because he is locked in. But we have a hint for RC Drone there saying near the desert is an entrance to death. Now that is the hint that is going to tell us where level 9 is going to be. So near the desert is going to be a bunch of that section in the desert by just north of the forest, just south of the Lost Hills. So there's a couple of screens that we can find, but that is a nice bit of information to get. RC Drone now looks like he's going to be ladder blocked out of 7. That is a potential that could happen. If he finds a staircase that could bring him places, he could make his way through. Unfortunately, looks like he is going to have to up A out of here for right now and come back when he has the ladder. Dragondarch has now found the item room in level 3. So let's take a look and see what he has here. He's also killing these in this room because it has a chance for one of those rooms to be a drop. And, ooh, level 3 is going to contain the bow. Very, very nice find for Dragondarch here, as he has, as I said, made his way delving through all through the level and is rewarded with one of the items he is going to need, again, which is the bow. Speaking of the bow, you have rcdrone now, who just picked up the arrow, so when he finds the bow eventually, when he gets to level 3, he will have a way to utilize the bow fully. Dragondarch still doesn't have arrows, but those are going to be an easy thing for him to pick up now that he has the bow. rcdrone finding another shop here with a very expensive magical shield and a very expensive heart. A slightly cheaper candle, but he's already got one. Dragondarch now just has to kill these red land moas, and he will get his second Triforce of the match, the Triforce from Dungeon 3. So now, normally if you had the ladder here, the spot where rcdrone was, you could potentially do a world wrap right over onto the screen that had the red candle on it, and warp around to the other side. But without the ladder, we're just going to go ahead and explore the dead woods. Excuse me, the dead woods, where rcdrone is going to find another medium secret. We also have Dragondarch up at the top of the waterfall here. This is normally the White Sword Cave in the vanilla game. It's going to be another potion shop. However, we do have another dungeon here for rcdrone, and this is very interesting, opting to go and bomb to the left for exiting. He's now going to exit the dungeon and go back in, and what that's going to do is it's going to open up the top here. Now, that works in all dungeons, also in the vanilla game, whether it's, you know, vanilla level 1 or whatever. So rcdrone looking to be here in level 5, just based on the starting position on the map. I don't know for sure, but it's more than likely looking like level 5. And there we have the hungry gorilla, who literally still is a gorilla, telling us to don't wake the windfish, which is again from Link's Awakening. From the looks of it, though, that is not going to be required unless we have to bomb up above him. So meat may not be required in this seed. Sorry for those of you who enjoy meat seeds. Now we have the tea room there, which is interesting. It does give rcdrone the compass, so he knows where to look. Unfortunately, he might not be able to get there because of the ladder. Now, again, we have another diamond staircase. There is a staircase, so rcdrone now going to have to look for another staircase, because there are going to be a total of 3 staircases here in level 5 that he's going to be looking for. Of course, one is going to connect to that other staircase. The second one, of course, going to be connected to the item that he's looking for, and the item is more quote-unquote more important than what he's looking for. Now, Dragondarch back to the vanilla start area, where he's going to bomb to the north of start, pick up this medium secret, and now he's going to go back into level 1, where he was unable to continue earlier because he did not have bombs. And we have another staircase here for rcdrone, so he is hoping that this is going to be the item, and it unfortunately is not. So we have got a troll staircase here, so it looks like meat may potentially be required here in this seed if we're going to have to bomb to the north of the hungry gorilla. Now, of course, when I say meat being required, what I mean here is the fact that RC and Dragondarch are both skilled enough to be able to ladder cook through that tea room. However, if not, you have to feed the hungry gorilla and bomb to the north of him. Now, we have a wardrobe change as Pochi on Dragondarch's side of things, as he picked up the blue ring for 250 rupees. Now, that is going to increase his defense. He's going to double his defense, actually, which means it's going to be a whole lot easier for him to survive these angry Wizrobe dungeons. So he's going to be able to bomb north here, as rcdrone has found has now found the Take Any roads. A pretty interesting set so far: the waterfall, the power bracelet spot to the west of start, the lake, and of course vanilla level 1. So those are some very, very interesting any road spots. Not necessarily the best, but especially considering the fact that our start screen is up in Death Mountain, then it's quite nice, actually. The map in the middle on the bottom is just going to show us the locations of things, specifically dungeons, swords, and any roads. So there's not a whole lot to it, just so you guys can keep track of what's going on. Speaking of keeping track of what's going on, rcdrone has now found another Take Any, or a Take Any when you want, putting his heart container total up to 7. Now that means he is guaranteed to get the white sword item whenever we find out what it is, because that you need between 4 and 6 hearts to take care of to get that item. So whenever he comes across it, he can get it. Same thing with Dragondarch, who has 6 hearts. The other thing about getting more hearts is the more hearts you have, 1, the more damage you can take. 2, if you start getting up to the levels of between 10 and 14 hearts, you start getting chances to pick up the magical sword. And the magic sword will make things a little bit easier later on in the game, because the magical sword is going to deal 4 hit points worth of damage, whereas the wooden sword will deal 1, and the white sword will deal 2. Again, Dragondarch also opting to pass up the magical boomerang there in level 1, which again, considering where we are in the game, we're almost 25 minutes in, definitely the easier option to go there. And you do see now rcdrone picking up meat. Unfortunately, it looked like he picked up the expensive meat, but he thinks that he's going to need it because he can now go back to level 5 without needing to get the ladder and bomb up above Hungry Grumbles there. We also now have got Dragondarch picking up the recorder in level 1 as he again walked by the boomerang. So now he is going to be able to go back and pick up the Triforce and get his 3rd Triforce of the match. So rcdrone now again making his way back into level 5 here, opting to not bother with the with the candle there, knowing the room he's in, and yep, feeding the meat to the Hungry Gorilla, allowing him to bomb north and continue on his way through level 5, which again is the Lizard. So because rcdrone, of course, knows where the Triforce is going to be located here, he is specifically going to be digging in here to find the item, because there are still two high-quality items that we are looking for. Of course, the first one is going to be the ladder, which is going to make traversing things a lot easier. The second one going to be the silver arrows. And when I say quote-unquote high quality, I mean items required, quote-unquote required to finish the game. You don't necessarily need the ladder to finish the game. I was actually part of a race the other night that the ladder was not required. It's very rare, but it can happen. Unfortunately, the ladder not going to be in this dungeon because he's ladder blocked from the way it is. So rcdrone opting to save here, and now he's going to use the recorder to continue his travels back through places he has not been. More than likely, he's going to whistle to level 2. Yep, so we can burn throughout the forest. Now, our Dragondarch here has found another Take Anyone You Want, giving him another heart container, putting him at 7 as well. Dragondarch making his way along the coast, which we have already seen rcdrone do, and going to be rewarded with another 130 secret, which is very, very nice. Of course, at this point, Dragondarch already has cheap meat in the blue ring, so what that secret's going to allow him to do is 2 things. 1, it's going to allow him to be a little bit quote-unquote willy-nilly with his arrows when he buys them, and he still has to buy them. And number 2, if he doesn't buy arrows, just goes for silvers, it's going to allow him to buy bomb upgrades. Correct, Genos. 5, 10. Oh, look at that. Before I get into that, we've got the silver arrows as the white sword item. They're going to be in the forest directly to the north of that Take Anyone You Want that Dragondarch found. So he's not going to have to purchase arrows, and we are not going to have to delve through level 9 to find these silver arrows. So that is huge, huge, huge. Again, another big money saver for Dragondarch as well. So now, as I was saying, all that money he got can be used to machine gun silver arrows, which is going to allow him to do 4 hit points of damage to any enemy which is not immune to them. Basically, Dark Nuts and Wizrobes, the 2 things that are immune to those. And now it also leaves him money to be able to purchase bomb upgrades if he finds things. And look at that. Power Bracelet is going to be required here in this seed, as Dragondarch has used the Power Bracelet to open up the rock to the south of the Fairy Fountain in the desert to find level 9. So this is definitely an interesting seed in the sense that you are required to get the Power Bracelet. However, both of our runners already have it, so that's not necessarily too big of a deal. Dragondarch now is going to continue his way through the rest of the forest. and burning what he needs to burn, as RC Drone is in a little bit of a conundrum here, having only a half a heart left to try and avoid not just the moblins, but also the fire from that Zola. And considering he only has that bit of a staircase to work in, he's going to have to do some very fancy maneuvering to get his way out of that. Does manage to make it so far, finds that same hint shop that Dragondarch found, bought the same hint that Dragondarch bought, and is rewarded with just a little bit of Arnold Schwarzenegger and hasta la vista, baby. Now we have the dead tree over here in the northeast. Now that hint that you see Dragondarch having, meet the moblin by a lake, that hint is going to tell us that that's where the magic sword is. If it was going to be the hint for the white sword item, it would say, my brother has, in this case, a silver arrow, you know, wherever, in this case in the forest. RC Drone does manage to now finally make his way up to the top northeast corner, get another heart container, bringing his total up to 8. More importantly, it's going to make him off beeping strings. Now, Drone, of course, is going to be finishing taking care of everything up here in the Lost Hills. So he's going to... unfortunately, as he was trying to make his way over to the other section, got hit by a blue Lionel sword beam. That's going to deal 2 full hearts of damage, but unfortunately, he is going to be ending up back at his start screen. So that is not something he wants to do. Very, very costly death there for Drone. Dragondarch now is on the far southwest corner of the map. The only thing that this is going to allow Drone to do, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, is potentially get some bombing done here in the Death Mountain area that he hasn't already completed. So it might be a blessing, it might be a curse, depending. Or again, Dragondarch has done things in definitely a more superior order of things, just getting lucky and everything. Because he already has both the bow and silver arrows. The only thing Dragondarch, quote-unquote, really needs here is he needs to get the ladder, which is going to make traversing. Well, he needs the ladder because both levels 5 and 7 are ladder blocked. He does not necessarily know that yet, but we do. Again, RC Drone making his way through Death Mountain, which is fine, but he is, again, doing this on, half-heart strats. He's got to be very, very careful, especially considering how far into Death Mountain he is. If he finds something out here, he's going to be, rewarded nicely. If there's nothing here in Death Mountain, it's going to put him even farther behind. Dragondarch now coming across the first of the 2 troll staircases in level 5 that we've already discovered, thanks to RC Drone. And RC Drone putting that wand to good use here to stay as far away from these blue Tektites as possible, hoping to kill them and get a heart contain or a heart drop here. Unfortunately, does not. So he is still going to have to make his way through on half a heart strats. And ooh, we got a screen full of Lionels where he's going to have to bomb. That is not good for RC Drone. And ready for it this time. Does get the bomb off. Unfortunately, isn't able to get into the cave there. Finally does manage to get into the cave and is rewarded with a greed is good money secret. It's going to be a 13 rupee small secret. So that was an awful lot of work for not a whole lot of payoff there for Drone. Another screen full of Lionels, and unfortunately he can't make it through this time as one of the orange ones is going to clip him. So he's still got a couple of screens left in Death Mountain he's going to have to bomb. That's going to be interesting to see if he chooses to go back there or not. Interesting aside, Dragondarch now has found, again, both staircases, or at least one staircase in level 5, and he's making his way up through the rest of it. Now, we know he's going to find out he is going to be ladder blocked here. The good thing for Dragondarch is he does already have the meat, which means he's not going to have to go back and purchase it and come back again later. So the less backtracking you can do into dungeons, the better off you are going to be. Dragondarch again going to pick up the the compass here in the T room. It's going to lead him to the Triforce location. But again, once he gets through the Hungry Gorilla room, he's also going to be informed of the sad news that he's going to need the ladder. Speaking of the ladder, we might be able to find it in the dungeon that RC Drone just found, which is going to be one screen to the north of Vanilla level 1. Now, you see these Poles voices in here. Now, in the Japanese version of the game, where the FDS, you could there was a microphone on the controller that you could use to scream into and kill Pole's voice. Now, because the NES didn't have that feature, the designers had to put something in the game for everybody else. So what they did is they made it so that the Pole's voice are weak to arrows, and arrows actually go right through them. Unfortunately, rcdrone is going to have to come back later for that dungeon because he's out of bombs. So he is going to be able to go into this one as well, which again is going to be one screen to the east of where he just found that. This one feels a whole lot more like level 4, whereas that last one felt like level 8. We are, however, going to be, again, not rewarded with anything from those red darknets. Now, red darknets do have the chance to drop bombs. Well, maybe not. I lied. Which is, perfectly commonplace with me here. It happens all the time, so don't worry about that. This is level 6 that rcdrone seems to be in. And yeah, oh boy. If we thought the Patra in level 1 was bad, we've got another Patra here, and this is a required Patra because it is blocking a shutter door. So this is the more difficult of the two Patras, the spiraling Patra. I don't say more difficult. It's the easier one to dodge, but I personally, when I'm doing it, I find it harder to hit the little orbiting things on them. I much prefer the ones just orbit in a circle. But then again, that is just me. I'm a little crazy. Now, we do have a staircase here in level 6. There are going to be 3 total staircases again. 2 are going to be connected. 1 is going to lead to the item here. And this one's going to lead to the item, which is the all-important ladder. So all that ladder knowledge that rcdrone has, now he's going to be able to put to use with the ladder. So all of those ladder blocks are now going to be gone. So this is a very, very good find for rcdrone, which is basically going to put him in a position where all of that advantage that Dragondarch had by gaining the bow and silver arrows early, this might be the item that is going to allow Drone to catch some time up. And now, normally you have to go around this if you were not able to ladder clip, but rcdrone, as you can see, able to ladder clip just fine. So he's going to ladder clip off the side of the T-room and now make his way over into the Triforce room in level 6. Very few things can stop him from being this Triforce here, the big one being, of course, a Goma, but because we saw Patras, we know it can't be a Goma, and that is going to be the Triforce out of level 6 for rcdrone. But again, more importantly, that item, or that gives him the ladder, which is going to be huge. He also now has bombs, so he can now go back to the dungeon he was just in earlier, if he so desires. But it looks like he's going to go and take a look at level 1, because he knows this is an any road, so I find it interesting to see where he's going to go with this. Amazing Ampharos Overworld. Silver arrows were 1 screen to the north of the Coast Heart, or basically where the Forest 100 secret is. Northeast of Vanilla level 1 is in fact going to be level 6. North of Vanilla level 1 is technically level question mark, but I believe it is level 8. Please, please, please don't confirm that on me. rcdrone now making his way back into level 5 to really quickly go ahead and pick up that Triforce and also pick up the item in here. He, again, is hoping to find something worth his time. At this point, because we know it can't be the silver arrows or the bow, red ring would be something really good for him to find. Magical key would be something really good for him to find. But because he's already explored a lot of it, he's going to go ahead and finish it. And he knows that this is going to be the item for him because we've already seen the... well, actually, I don't know if he knows this, but we've already seen the reverse serum that has the drop, so we knew this is going to be the item. And there it is. There it is, the magical key. So now half of the resource management that we were talking about earlier is now going to be a moot point because keys are no longer going to be an issue for rcdrone. That's a very, very good find for him because now the other thing is he can also ignore all key drops in rooms. And he's going to use a little trick here. Gliok only has a hitbox on his head, it's not his bottom. So we're just going to walk by Gliok's bottom there, and not a problem. That's going to be another Triforce for rcdrone. Pick up the Triforce in level 5. The other good thing that rcdrone now has access to again is because he knows the lake here is one of the any roads, he can just go ahead and make his way back to any place he needs to really get convenient. He can go to Vanilla level 1, which of course can bring him to the question mark level north of it. He also has access to the waterfall, which could bring him up to the Lost Hills, which eventually he's going to need to do, because we know that's where level 3 is located. Dragondarch getting the hint in level 7 that near the desert is an entrance to death, but again, he already knew this because we had found level 9 already at the power bracelet spot to the south of the fairy fountain. Dragondarch doing his best to try and make his way through the rest of level 7. Unfortunately, again, we know he is going to be ladder blocked out of this. And rcdrone, now in the forest, has discovered these silver arrows. So he basically has everything he is going to be needing. I say basically because he still needs to find the bow, but he's going to come across that in level 3 when he finally gets there, because again, the bow cannot be in level 9. Dragondarch discovering the bad news that he is, in fact, ladder blocked out of 7, so he's going to now make his way, continuing through Death Mountain. He's got 6 bombs, so he's probably going to do what we saw rcdrone doing earlier, and that's just going to be bombing his way through, through Death Mountain. And I did miss it, but apparently Dragondarch does now have the white sword. So was the white sword the item in, I believe the white sword was the item in level 7. rcdrone also picking up a tunic change as he, as he picks up the blue ring as well. So now rcdrone has come across level 3, and he's opting to bomb left first. So he does correctly predict the bomb left option here. So he is now going to find that he is in a dungeon with wizrobes. So we are now currently, about 41 minutes in, so we're not quite good enough to give you guys an item update, but just a quick rundown here. Real quick, we've got Dragondarch has the bow, the silver arrows, the recorder, and the power bracelet, whereas rcdrone has the silver arrows, the recorder, the power bracelet, and the ladder. Both of them still quote-unquote looking for the raft, even though we don't necessarily know that it's needed. rcdrone also has Triforces out of 1, 2, 5, and 6, whereas Dragondarch has Triforces out of 1, 2, and 3. Probably about 10 minutes from now, I will give you guys an item update. But it looks as if dying in Death Mountain was probably a good thing for rcdrone, as Dragondarch has come up completely empty on his delve through Death Mountain as he attempts to locate the final dungeons in Hyrule. And there's rcdrone getting the drop in level 3 from the reverse sea room, so he now knows that the final reverse sea room he comes across is in fact going to be a staircase room. Yes, Zarblax, we are in fact still missing level 4. We are getting down to the point now where raft could very well be required in this, because there are very few overworld spots in Hyrule that we have left to check. But again, once rcdrone finishes his delve through level 3, he will have the bow. He is more than likely then going to go back to level 7 because he knows he was ladder blocked out of that. And he's going to just probably run in, get the Triforce, and run out. Dragondarch, unfortunately, not getting rewarded by any of his delving into Death Mountain. So he's now going to make his way continuing down to find other things. Looks like he's going to just screen scroll his way to the other side. And now he is going to find, using his last bomb, unfortunately, he is going to find what we believe to be level 8 here to the north of level 1. Yeah, just based on the positioning on the mini-map, this is in fact level 8. There's no way it can be level 4. Well, let me rephrase it. There's no way it can be level 4. But that bombing up there confirms this is 100% level 8. And RC Drone, speaking of levels, is going to pick up the Triforce in level 3. So now we've got, again, level 8 has 2 items to find. Now, at this point in the game, however, there's not a whole lot of items left, quote-unquote, that are worth finding. The biggest one is going to be, well, Dragondarch is hoping to find the ladder, but of course that's going to be in level 6. So the biggest item that we can find, that Dragondarch could find in here, is going to be the red ring. And he already actually has found 2 of the staircases here in level 8. This one, unfortunately, is just going to be a staircase leading him somewhere, opting to not take it. And he again has the option to take that spiral staircase as well. Now, the thing that he knows is because of the way the bombing worked, he knows for a fact that that staircase is going to take him to those 2 rooms to the left on the bottom row here, because he couldn't bomb into them. So that's the big thing that Dragondarch knows, that he isn't going to have to take that staircase at all, because he has the compass, which tells him where the Triforce is. So that's why he opted to up an A there, because it's going to be easier for him to up A and kill these enemies as opposed to have to kill the other ones. James, the Powerhead. One, they can potentially have the overworld memorized, but 2, there are definitely trackers that you can use. The map that you see on the bottom of the screen, that is a tracker that was developed. It's called Sea Helper. It was actually developed for use before, but we have a modified version that we're using here to keep track of the tournament. So now with RC Drone bombing to the northwest of level 1 in what has been dubbed the Forgotten Spot, it feels as if this is going to be a raft required seed, because there was nothing there. So at this point, with the Forgotten Spot, this is going to be a raft required seed, which means the raft is going to be one of the 2 items that we're going to find here in level 8 for Dragondarch. And unfortunately, the other one's going to be the book, not the item he wanted to see. But again, as we have Dragondarch in level 8, we now have RC Drone making his way back to level 7, where he can continue on because he is no longer ladder blocked. Yeah, and this is a very interesting choice here for RC Drone to go back to 7 as opposed to explore level 8. And we have the horizontal shoot room being found for Dragondarch, which is actually a very interesting thing, because we've got Keese, Gibdos, and Darknuts in here. The big advantage that Dragondarch has, of course, is he has the silver arrows, which are going to allow him to take care of that room without a problem. Yeah, so the one thing, again, we do have to remember for RC Drone is the reason he's going to 7, more than likely, is because he still has those two Death Mountain spots to explore. He's going to want to do that. Again, we do have Dragondarch picking up the raft, which we had surmised was in level 8, because obviously the raft can't be in a dungeon that is raft blocked. And level 7 is going to contain, well, that's the boomerang. That's the boomerang. And again, this is extremely late in the game, so the runners do not want to see the boomerang there at all. It might have some advantages if enemies have 0 HP, but it is what it is. No, I thought it was, just based on taking a look at Dragondarch sprites. I'm having a bit of it, because he's using these specialized sprites, I'm not quite sure what we're looking at, but then I realized once the boomerang was in 7, no, that's because it changed color palette when he got the blue ring. So that is on that one is definitely on me, but it is the wooden sword, but it just looks like the white sword because he changed color palettes with the blue ring. And Dragondarch is going to go ahead and pick up the Triforce in level 8. And going to be rewarded with the lost spot, or the forgotten spot, giving him another heart container. So that puts Dragondarch at 10 heart containers. And that means he is going to have a 20% chance of picking up the magical sword if he so desires to go and find it. Now, rcdrone over in 7 is running into a little bit of a problem here. He's having to take a very, very convoluted path to the Triforce. The other big thing he's going to have to worry about is he's out of bombs again. Yeah, so this 7 is all kinds of crazy. rcdrone having to go up, up, down, down, left, right. Probably pushing some A-B start select in there as well to finally make his way to the Triforce, but does get the bombs he was looking to get. And it's a good thing, too, because it looks like he's going to have the bomb to get where he wants to go. Oh, this 7! Wow! This 7 is just not being very nice at all to rcdrone. But speaking of things that aren't going to be nice, this level 6 that Dragondarch is in is going to be very nice after he gets out this patch, because right on his path to where he needs to go is, in fact, going to be the ladder he has been so desperately searching for. Unfortunately, rcdrone is going to have to take the staircase he was hoping to avoid, and that's going to take him to the far right-hand side of level 7, not where he wanted to go. And Dragondarch finally with the ladder here. So yeah, I haven't necessarily taken a look at his map here, but it looks as if rcdrone is going to have to go around the long way here to get into the rooms he needs to get into. Now there is the potential of the top left-hand room in 7 being a thing, because it technically isn't listed on the map, but it is a room. Yes, now for those of you who are wondering how this is going to work, basically we have a program that generates what's called a seed. You get a certain seed number and it has the same flag. So both runners are going to get that same seed. Speaking of getting the same thing, as Dragondarch gets the same Triforce in level 6 that rcdrone already had. Both runners get the same seed, and then they play the exact same file. So now, there we go. There is going to be the Triforce out of level 7 for rcdrone. So Drone still needs to go back into 8 to get the Triforce out of that, whereas Dragondarch needs the Triforce out of 4, 5, and 7. So again, we have a quite interesting scenario on our hands, because we now know, based on what we've seen, that the raft is going to be required here, and Dragondarch having the raft out of 8 is going to be a really, really big deal. But first things first, Dragondarch going to take the path, the any road path through the lake to get him back to level 5, where, because it's directly on his path, he is going to be rewarded with the magical key. rcdrone, unfortunately, going to go into Death Mountain to take care of those 2 spots that he missed, and he's going to find out that this was a completely worthless trip, because there's going to be no levels here. Yes, AA, the second item in level 8 was the book. rcdrone now blowing the recorder to get himself a little bit closer to where he needs to go, not in Death Mountain. Going to blow the recorder to get him to level 6, which means he's opting to not go into level 8. This is very interesting. I thought for sure he would go into 8. And now Dragondarch here trying to set himself up for the double block clip here, so he doesn't have to walk all the way around. But at this point, he's been doing it so long that it's probably just worth it to try and go around. He does finally manage to pick it off, though, and there is the magical key for Dragondarch. So again, keys are not going to be an issue for him as well. A hit shot there for rcdrone in the desert. He's going to opt to not bother with it, mostly because he doesn't have the rupees. Ampharos, we still are missing red ring, heart container. Those are the 2 big ones we're missing. Let's see, what else? Yeah, both bananas we did see. Yeah, white sword. Genos is right. So with that, I did promise you guys it a little bit ago, but unfortunately I don't have it with me right now. I didn't do it when I promised, but here's going to be the item recap for what we have. So what we have for you is the items in level 1 were the recorder and the magical boomerang. Level 2 contained the power bracelet. Level 3 was the bow. Level 4's item we do not know. Level 5 is the magical key. Level 6 had the ladder. Level 7 had the wooden boomerang. Level 8 was the raft and the book. Level 9's items we do not know. The ladder item was the red candle. The wand was the Armos item. And the white sword item was the silver arrows. And now we have got rcdrone delving through level 8 as Dragondarch makes his way through level 7. Now, we do know, because we saw it with rcdrone, this level 7 is extremely, extremely trolly, with one path and one path only to get to the Triforce that we need to do. Unfortunately, Dragondarch finding this out the hard way here. And it may actually be more than one path, but it looks like that bomb didn't work, wasn't close enough. Nope, there's just no bomb wall there, as Dragondarch is continuing to try and bomb his way through level 7, as rcdrone putting his bombs to use against the Dark Nuts. Now, for those of you who've never played this, never seen this play before, there is actually a way to bomb Dark Nuts. You just cannot be facing them when you place your bomb. So basically the same way as if you face, basically, as long as you're facing a direction when you place your bomb that can be, that you can stab a Dark Nut with, then the bomb will do damage. If you are facing a direction that your sword cannot do damage to a Dark Nut with, then your bomb will not do damage. Pretty simple how it works, honestly. Now, rcdrone is going to be picking up the compass there in level 8, so he definitely does know where he's looking, to go for the Triforce. Unfortunately, he is going to have to pick up the raft here, and I believe he now knows he has to pick up the raft. So he's going to be looking for that. And there, of course, is that troll, not necessarily troll staircase, but staircase to 2 rooms. And one of those is going to give him the map, and the other one's just going to be an old man hint, which is going to tell us where level 1 is located, but we knew that already. We found that way, way, way back when. Now, Dragondarch is running into the same issue that we saw rcdrone running into earlier in this dungeon. When I say this dungeon, I mean level 7, bombs. So remember what I was saying about resource management, everybody? Well, this is another case of that where you need bombs. And we know that bombs are required to get us to where we need to go for the Triforce. So Dragondarch is going to have to find some way to get himself some bombs. Now, there are red gorillas here in this dungeon, so he could potentially farm off of them. He's going to be looking to kill this Goma here to try and get a bomb drop. Unfortunately, just gets a fairy, which, yes, you can use the arrows to grab items, as you saw Dragondarch do there with the fairy. Now, these appear to be the Zol enemies, which are going to split up into the shells, and there is some bombs for Dragondarch, so he does get the room drop of bombs, what he was looking for. So now he can go and continue on his way to get the Triforce out of 7. That was a very, very, very huge bomb drop for Dragondarch, as the more time he wasted with the bombs, the more time that gives, or that would have given rcdrone to continue to make his way through level 8. Unfortunately, there's the book for rcdrone, never the item you want to see. And then what the book does is going to make the magical wand that our runners have been using throughout most of the run. It's going to make it put fire on the end of this explosion, which actually technically makes it worse because the fire sticks around and can't damage some enemies and can also damage you. And there is the Triforce in level 7 for Dragondarch, putting him in the lead Triforce-wise, as well as information-wise. So he now knows that he's going to have to go to one of the 2 raft spots to find where level 4 is. Dragondarch now blowing the recorder to get himself a little bit closer to one of the raft spots here. And looks like he's blowing the recorder to go to level 8, which is going to put him close enough to a raft spot. He has the potential to screen scroll here and get over to where the magical sword is, which is probably get him closest to level 4. Looks like he's going to opt to whistle again, and rcdrone does pick up the raft here in level 8. Which now gives him the item he needed. Dragondarch is looking a little bit confused here right now, or either that or he is just blowing his whistle to get him to certain locations. I'm all confused right now as to the path Dragondarch is taking. Now, this is quite the interesting Triforce room here. There we go. That's going to get us somewhere at least. So that whistle blow to 5 will finally get us to a location we can take the first of the 2 raft spots. And now RC Drone finally getting the Triforce out of level 8. So both runners now trying to find level 4. It's all going to be a matter of which raft spot they decide to go to. Dragondarch going to be going to the one where vanilla level 4 is. Now, vanilla level 4 is going to be where regular level 4 is. That's going to be 2 levels where they normally are, so that's the thing you don't normally see. Unfortunately for Dragondarch, he made the wrong choice when it comes to raft levels, so he is now going to have to go to the raft spot that is over on the other side of Hyrule. RC Drone also doing the exact same thing, going to check out the vanilla level 4 spot first. Again, unfortunately for him, he's going to find the same thing out that Dragondarch found out, that is just a vanilla money-making game. So he is going to have to go over to the other side of Hyrule over on the coast and take care of the raft spot there. Yep, so at this point, routing is going to be a huge deal here because we're going to have both runners going into level 4 about 30 seconds to a minute apart. So when I say routing is going to be a big thing, what I mean by that is getting to the Triforce in level 4 and getting through level 9, finding Ganon and Zelda. So depending on the path you see the runners take, this could be a very close race. It could be a not so close race. And of course, for those of you just tuning in, this is just the first of many races that we have coming up for you today. Immediately following this race, we're going to have another one of our quarterfinal, our bonus bracket quarterfinal matchups between the number 7 seed and the number 6 seed, or is it 5 seed? I can't remember. Hold on, let me have that up right now. I should probably have that up. Between the number 5 seed, Jake Oper, excuse me, and the number 7 seed, Fred Coughlin. That is going to be coming up immediately after this. So please, please, please do not go anywhere. Now, again, as you can see, there are actually items here in level 4 that you could be looking to find. Because 2 of the 3 items remaining are actually good things. We have the white sword, and we have the red ring, both of which are going to make level 9 easier. So I don't necessarily think the runners are going to go, quote-unquote, out of their way to find the item. But if it happens to cross their paths, they are definitely going to get it. As you can see, Dragondarch opting to exit and leave that room now. It's going to do 2 things. One, it's going to make it so that, unfortunately, he gets a drop in there, so he knows that's not the item. It's going to make it so that the enemies in the room are going to be locked in place. It's also, if he dies, it also has a chance to reset the spawn rates. So, Dragondarch had a little bit of a more difficult room than RC Drone did with that Wizrobe, but both of them are going to be unrewarded by getting a key drop that neither one of them need. 6 blue Wizrobes is never a fun room to find. Both of them thankful they don't have to kill that room and they just key on up out of there. Both of our runners currently are blue ring wooden sword. However, we do have the item here for Dragondarch. It's another one of those 6 blue Wizrobe rooms, and I can tell you from experience just learning how to block clip, having to clip in a room like that is extremely, extremely difficult. And unfortunately, we've got the heart container in level 4. Dragondarch and RC Drone both going to take it because it's going to up their defense. But that means that the staircases in level 9 are going to contain the white sword and the red ring, the 2 items that both of our runners were actually looking for. So if they happen to come across it, that's going to be great. Otherwise, we're looking at blue ring wood sword level 9, which means 15 hits to kill Ganon. Now, the other thing that does give is it does give both of our runners a fairly decent shot at Magical Sword. Dragondarch has a 60% chance, whereas RC Drone has a 40% chance. The only problem with that is going to be, as RC Drone and Dragondarch both grab the Triforce out of 4, is the Magical Sword is so far out of the way from where they are that I don't know if it's a good idea to go after or not. I personally know I would, but then again, that's just me. RC Drone opting to go and take a test. He's whistling back to level there, close to start, level 1. Looks like he is going to be going after the Magical Sword. Same thing with Dragondarch, except he is opting to whistle to level 5. I 100% agree with this move here because Dragondarch especially has a 60% chance, and Magical Sword is going to be huge. So we're going to take a look, see if this is an 11 heart Magical Sword, maybe it's a 12 heart, maybe it's 13 or 14. who knows? But RC Drone doesn't look like he's able to get the magical sword, unfortunately for him. So he's going to blow the whistle and head back to level 9. Dragondarch not able to get it either. Minimum of a 13-heart magical sword. This is going to make for a very, very intense game here. Unfortunately, RC Drone looks like he whistled to the wrong dungeon. Whistled to 7, not 8 or 6. So now he's gonna, there we go. Now he's at 1. Looks like he's just gonna walk there. Wow, this is all kinds of crazy. So both of our runners now making their way to level 9. RC Drone getting some bombs on his way there. And Dragondarch gonna be the first one to arrive at level 9. He also gets a bomb drop. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to level 9. Now the one good thing for both of our runners is that level 9 is directly near a fairy fountain. We do have the option of going up and left, so you're more than likely going to see both runners go up here. And the reason they're going to do that is because what they're looking for is looking for the sound of Ganon. And once you enter a room, you can hear Ganon's roar if he's in a room that is in a cardinal direction from you, so north, south, east, and west. So by going up the middle path, you actually can get rid of 3 rooms more when it comes to finding Ganon. Now, speaking of finding Ganon, that is a huge, huge hint for Dragondarch to find. The beast awaits in the southeast of the skull. So basically now he knows where he has to look to find Ganon, which is going to be in that southeast section of the skull. So basically cut it in 4, and that's going to be down in the bottom half. RC Drone also getting the exact same hint. So both runners now know where they need to look to try and find Ganon. So again, routing is going to be a huge thing here. So it looks as if both of them are basically taking the same path right now. RC Drone hiding up in the corner. Looks like he was trying to mark his map a little bit, which is perfectly fine. I know that especially delving into level 9, it's very, very difficult. We did see a dark room there. Got a little bit excited on Dragondarch's side. Unfortunately, that is not going to be Ganon's room. So we're going to continue on. So now we go. Dragondarch has found Ganon. It's going to be to the direct left of the shoot room. So now here we go. So what we're going to be looking for here is Dragondarch needs to get 15 hits on Ganon because Wood Sword deals 1 hit point of damage and Ganon has 15 hit points total. So that is 2 hit points for Dragondarch there on Ganon. This is going to be 3. Again, looking for what he's looking for there. He's looking for quote unquote the stun lock where you just keep Ganon in an infinite dancing loop. Unfortunately, he's not getting a whole lot of luck there with Ganon's spawn. So that's going to be 5. And we are at 5 hits on Ganon right now for Dragondarch as RC Drone is going to be making his way up there shortly. Dragondarch now 6 hits as RC Drone is going to be making his way up into that room. Unfortunately, again, no stun lock for Dragondarch, so this Ganon fight taking a lot longer than he wants it to. And we are halfway there on Dragondarch's side of things. There we go, 9, 10. There's a stun lock. That's what it's supposed to look like, everybody. So, oh, doesn't quite get it. Ganon escapes the stun dance there. So 14 and, oh no, still 1 more hit remaining on Dragondarch's side of things as RC Drone, looks like RC has the stun lock as well. So that is going to be it for Ganon on Dragondarch's side as RC Drone continues the stun lock. So once we have that, we are going to be neck and neck. This race is going to be close, everybody. First one to find Zelda and hit dot done. This is probably one of the closest races I have ever seen here. And wow, look at that. Both of them finding Zelda. Holy crap. Both of them dot-dunning. Dragondarch is going to win with a time of 1:07.12. RC Drone with a time of 1:07.20. 8 seconds between our runners. Holy crap. That is the closest race we have seen by far in this tournament. 8 seconds. Oh my word. That is absolutely insane. I don't believe that. What a way to absolutely kick off this tournament, guys. I didn't hear the sound, so I believe I've got Dragondarch here in with me. I'm just going to say, oh my god, that 9. What are you going to say about that race? That's just absolutely insane, though. Oh my. That's just, wow. I really have nothing to say. Dragondarch, I know I see you here. Can you hear me? Okay, yep. Looks like we are having just a little bit of audio issues here. So, just wow, absolutely incredible there what we have for that race. All I'm going to say is I feel bad for every other racer coming in after that. How do you top that performance? 8 seconds! All right, while we are waiting for Dragondarch to restart Discord, we do have rcdrone here in the call. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine. So I'll just get right to the question. 8 seconds. Wow. How about that race?
Do you want me to answer or Dragondarch?
We'll start with you, RC, and then we'll go to Dragondarch afterwards.
Yeah, it's a little disappointing because I looked at IRC and I didn't see him finish, and then I killed Ganon, and then I saw he finished, and it was like, but you know that's just how it goes sometimes.
Yeah, Dragondarch, same to you. What's your thoughts on the 8-second race here? Looks like we are still having a little bit of Discord issues with Dragondarch. So in that case, RC. Big question I want to ask here is, with these Elite 8Cs, one of the biggest things that can factor in is the start screen. So having that start screen be all the way up on Death Mountain and basically in a corner where there's only one way to go, how does that affect how you route through this?
I don't think it's actually that bad, because from that start screen you can kind of go left, or you can go down and left, or you can go down, or you can go down and right, because that, like, that bridge area up at the top is kind of like a pivot point for everything. So I took a few bad like overworld deaths, but I don't think, well, I guess they did hurt me at the end. In a normal race, like that wouldn't hurt me too bad, I don't think.
Okay, I think this thing's working now.
All right, there we are. Now we have got Dragondarch. So I'll ask, basically I'll give you the same comment that I had Star C there. What are your thoughts on this race being decided by 8 seconds?
I don't have any words. Like, the one thing I really want to know is, how was I ahead or behind going into 9?
You guys were literally even going into 9.
Oh my!
It was literally screen for screen.
Wow. I don't even have words for this. This is just ridiculous.
Yeah, that's absolutely insane. I like have no questions, because just like, what did I just see?
I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch this VOD at some point. This is just one that felt like I felt like I was actually playing well, which is a very, very stark contrast to how my practice was going all of last night and into today. I was getting really slow times, didn't feel like I was playing all too well, and then, I don't know, everything just suddenly fell into place.
Yeah, no, absolutely insane. So I guess I'll ask the next question. So you have a little bit of a break, Dragondarch, and then coming up at about 5 p.m., you're going to be going on to face the number 4 seed Jam Evil. So what are your thoughts on that?
Team Bearded Flex Race hype?
Fair enough, fair enough. So moving on to RC, you were actually the 39 seed coming into this tournament, and you made it all the way to the final 8. Now, is there anything you want to say overall about just your experience in this tournament, and just anything you want to say to pretty much anybody here in the chat listening?
I mean, it's been a lot of fun. Like, yeah, like upsetting people and just I don't know what to say. It's been like, I've been thinking about Randomizer for like the past 3 months now. Just like every day, just like thinking about the game and just trying to get better and trying to get as far as I can. And yeah, it just came up short today, but like, yeah, I mean, it's it's been really good.
Yeah, no, there's absolutely nothing to be ashamed about, especially coming in as the 39 seed and opening up a lot of people's eyes in this tournament. And just because I actually remember I was actually on the call for your first race in the tournament, and just seeing like, wow, this is a 39 seed, and look at all the stuff he's doing, and now from just there to seeing where you are now, including and I know this was a couple of races ago, but something I want to address, pulling out the shutter door clip. So just a massive improvement of what we've seen. And again, I just want to say thank you for participating in the tournament and providing, at least right now, in my opinion, the most entertaining race in the tournament, and just all of the moments you guys have provided. So I just want to say thank you on behalf of me and everybody else who's done commentary for you guys for doing stuff like this.
Yeah, I'd like to thank everybody who did commentary for the tournament. That's been really cool to go back and watch the VODs and see what people had to say, and just bringing hype to the races. It's kind of a coincidence that I got knocked out by Dragondarch, because he's the first person I ever saw. That's the first time I ever saw Randomizer even being played was on the stream. It doesn't really mean anything, but it's just a giant coincidence that he ends up knocking me out of the tournament.
That's interesting.
All right, so I don't want to keep you guys too much, because I know there's plenty of other things you guys probably want to be doing. I know Dragondarch, you're going to want to take a little bit of a break before having to come back and do this again. And we also have another race coming up in about 10 minutes. So first off, RC, any final words you would like to say before we move on?
Just thanks to the tournament organizers like Jan and Jay Coper and Fred for making the randomizer too. It's been awesome.
Yep. And before I get to Dragondarch, I am going to segue there. Thank you for mentioning Jay Coper and Fred, because the race coming up at 3:30 is actually going to be between the number 5 seed Jay Coper and the number 7 seed Fred. So stay tuned for that. And with that, Dragondarch, any other comments you would like to say before we see you again in a couple of hours?
No, I got nothing. Not right now, anyway.
All right, fair enough. So that is going to be, again, the number 24 seed Dragondarch. Advancing on to take on Jam Evil, and that match is going to be coming up at 5 p.m. Before that, in about 9 minutes time, give or take, we're going to have another match between the number 5 seed Jay Coper and the number 7 seed Fred Coughlin. So while we get ready for that, I ask everybody, please sit back, relax, and enjoy what we have for music. And I will be back with you for that race, as well with another commentator in the booth with me. But we're going to save that surprise for when they get here. See you guys in a minute.